Hello, my name's Paul, pronouns he, him, and I will be facilitating a game of Eclipse Phase using a homebrew system done by myself and my good friend Will, who is playing Rook in this series, and the system's called Decay. It was worked well last week, so we're going to play and see if it continues to work well this week, and we may continue to develop it from this point. But we're here to really have a good time playing Eclipse Phase. We will be running full safety tools, multi-layered. So we have cats, we have lines and veils, and I will just quickly go over the lines that we have. So we have sexual assault and violence, death, endangerment of children, domestic violence, graphic description of head trauma, violent conflict between PCs, torture by the PCs, sexism, racism, homophobia, and transphobia. And we have a veil on consensual sex. There's a lot of Brits here, and we can watch it. We don't like talking about it. And we expect to see in this series some infection, plague as major plot point. That's sort of Eclipse Phase built in. Some gore, body horror, some extreme violence, mental health conditions. It's a game with horror mechanics. I am not a mental health first aider or professional. We'll give it a good shot. If anybody's offended by it, please put a comment, and seek some professional help if you need to. There could be some racial stigma against morph types, so that's not racism per se. That's people picking out people in different morphs. Tech Gone Wild, sort of built into EP, and maybe a chance of some aliens popping up. Maybe not. On top of lines and veils, we always have the open door policy. People can leave at any stage. That's fine. If you've got time and you can, put something in chat or just interrupt and say that you don't have to. You can just disappear, and we'll wait a bit and see how it goes. If you want to add anything to lines and veils, that's perfectly fine at any stage. Just let me know that you've added something, because you might be okay with something first and then say, that's not really sitting well with me. And we can always rewind and do something again. And of course, we have the X card. I will try my hardest to keep an eye on the screen if somebody's showing the X card, or they type it in chat. And everybody, please just raise my attention if that does happen. I've not missed it ever before, but there's always the first time. So I will allow the players to introduce themselves and the characters they're playing. I'll then give a quick recap, and we'll dive straight in to play. So as I see him around my ever-changing Zoom screen, let's have Horst introduce himself and his character.
Horst, he, him, and I'm playing Hex. And Hex grew up in the outer system, I think it's called.
Yep.
In a microgravity community of like-minded anarchists. And they are, I think, they are revolutionary, trying to spread the good word about how to govern, or actually not to govern.
How to not to govern. Yes, excellent. Thank you very much, Horst. Moving on to Lowell. Could you introduce yourself and your character, please, Lowell?
My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm running Fissure, and I realize I haven't changed my name in my display. I will do that next. Who is also he, him, and he comes from the Rust Belt, and he would like money very much, please. Thank you. And he is a face person. He goes and talks to people, and then sometimes he goes and sells those people out, depending on how awful they are. That's my thing.
Thank you very much, Lowell. Moving on to Will, who is playing Rook.
Rook is a mercenary who is part of the UN task force during the fall, evacuating the planet, from the Titans. And he is sworn to vengeance against the traitor general who ordered him to leave behind the civilians back in the days of the fall. He believes that Vector General is now a hypercorp exec of some kind. And he's been working his way, trying to get closer to him ever since. I think that based on that, Rook's probably been like on Firewatch's payroll for a while, I guess. Fought the Titans. Seems like you'd be one of the sort of like go-to muscle guys for Firewatch.
Sounds awesome. And we looking forward to seeing some Rook in action this session. And last but not least is my good friend Puckett, who is playing Coda. Please introduce yourself, Puckett.
Hey there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Aaliyah Noble, who basically is a working girl, if you will. Bluntly, she is a sex worker and has a whole lot of tech skills. She's very subtle in what she does, mostly dealing with trying to get information from people and work on the digital side of things. But she is pretty formidable when it comes to things like hacking and messing with interfaces and so forth. She is not to be trifled with.
100%, as we saw in the last session. Nicely segueing into the recap of what happened last session. So the characters woke up in an underground sort of medical facility and were washed out of either awoken as robots or they are washed out of sort of biotubes. They grabbed themselves whatever equipment was nearby, and they were informed by somebody in the room, a guy called Dr. Mobius, an old gentleman, which is quite unusual in Eclipse Phase, wearing a sort of a silvery sort of either a doctor's coat or a sort of a trench coat. And he informed the players that basically they're about to come under attack. And at that stage, bursting through the door were some sort of like 1 foot tall mantis shrimp, which the players dealt with, and Mobius didn't. He wasn't too hot on gun skills. They managed to get a bit of information out of Mobius. Mobius told them that they need to find Dr. Mobius in a nearby city called Noctis Quaigio, roughly population around about 13 million. But he never told the players where they were exactly, and because you're underground, you don't have a sort of lock to satellites at all. But you think you're possibly in the Titan quarantine zone, which is not really a place to be. Just as they were trying to get a bit more information out of Dr. Mobius, some larger mantis shrimp pod creatures burst in with some further smaller mantis shrimp and attacked the players. Luckily, Rook was down at this stage, not through gunfire. He'd sort of not come round through his bio-awakening process. So Fisher and Coda took aim and drove the 2 larger mantis pods back, while Hex opened the door behind the players. Just as Mobius was jumped by the smaller mantis shrimp and ripped apart, the players then managed to get out through the small opening Hex had created in the doorway, and then they sealed the door behind them once they're all through. I think Fisher was the last one through the door, and yeah, you can definitely hear probably disgruntled mantis pods on the other side trying to open the door, but Hex is quite confident that it's shut for a period of time. I think at this stage, Rook, you've managed to get back the ability to speak. Your eyes are finally focused, and it clearly adjusting to this new body has not been good for you. Take it away, Rook.
Yeah, what is it called when you don't sleeve in properly in Eclipse Phase?
Well, yeah, sort of re-sleeve sickness. I think we could probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think because the camera's in Rook's vision, right? He raises a hand and it flickers through like the sixth most recent pod that he's been through, rather than the one that he's currently wearing.
Yeah.
And as he speaks, he's hearing like the different vocal cords of like the different pods that he's
Yeah,
had.
and this freaks you out quite a bit, sort of thing, because this was not the body that. What was the sort of last thing you remember then, Rook?
I think the last thing that Rook remembers is that he wasn't in a security pod, although he's worn those many times before. I think he was in a like a heavy like synth unit, like basically like a mobile weapons platform kind of thing, rated hard for 0G. And he was on like I think he was working out protecting against pirates in the ice asteroids around Jupiter. The last thing he remembers is a routine, like check out this weird signal and then gone.
Excellent. So I think the rest of you noticed that this guy's finally got back some locomotion and is sort of beginning to talk. He looks quite confused still, though.
I'm presuming I wasn't loaded up with weapons before I left the thing, so no.
No, you are in a pair of nothing because you're a robot. So not even underpants. Not that you'd want underpants as a robot. Oh, you're a pod. Yes, no, you are clothed then in a pair of jockeys. Pair of jockeys.
Stagger against the wall, throw up for a second, and then turn around and blink at the other three. Notice that they've got guns, and just say, so who the fuck are you? Where the fuck are we? And what the fuck is going on?
We were apparently purchased. It's unclear whether we got forked or put in. I say purchased, I mean mention quotation marks around that for the benefit of Hex. By that doctor who's in there and dropped into these bodies. And he wants us to go and meet up with him at the city of Noctis. And right now we're on Mars in a shitty part of it. And we've got to get everybody some kind of suits right now if we're going to be going and doing any kind of walking. Does anyone have a connection to a chronometer? Can anyone tell us like what the date and time is? Maybe we can assess how long it has been since our last memories.
Excellent. Your muse will reply. Parker. Yeah. Parker will reply to you and saying, you will need to get out in the open to get some kind of satellite. There is no broadcast signal around here to get any kind of positional fix.
We are
on pardon?
We on Mars?
Yes.
Fucking hate Mars.
So do I. I was born here.
You haven't even heard the bad news. We're probably in some kind of quarantine zone because we.
Oh no, we're definitely in the Titan quarantine zone.
Shit, the TQZ. Fuck. Last time I was here. I look at the guns and I say, well, some pistols aren't going to do shit against anything the Titans left behind.
Good that I have a club.
Yeah.
We should get moving before there's those shrimp and those robot Titan things. Oh yeah. Oh, we also some Titan bots along with the Manta shrimp.
At this stage, I'm going to attempt, because I use that term very well, I have some images, and it always does good for YouTube resolution. So let me try or at least ask for an assistance on how do you share a screen?
So down at the bottom in the middle, there's a share button.
100% right.
You just click on that and it'll pull up some screens for you to choose from. If you've got it pulled up somewhere. If you have it up as a
yes, yeah, here we go. So hopefully
beautiful.
everybody can see that. Clearly, this is a camera angle from down below the thing. They're about a foot tall. Some sort of evil-looking adaptation of a mantis shrimp. They don't clearly normally grow that large, and they breathe underwater. So these have been adapted somehow for land use. That's the sort of room you're in, with those sort of creatures swarming just as the door shut. That's what it sort of looked like, and that is Dr. Mobius with his Aqua 66 sidearms that he had. Aqua 66 is a weapons manufacturer, among other things, and they make quite sort of glass-like type weapons, as Fisher described. I will stop sharing.
Let's, fictionally have our muses, exchange these images so that Rook in the picture of Mobius and that mantis shrimp thing goes like, well, fuck, man. That guy fogged himself and he stayed, what, 200?
Yeah, a little weird.
A little weird. I mean, not as weird as a giant fucking shrimp, I guess, but
Yeah, my worry is that there's like that was his actual body, and there's a younger fork in Noctis. I don't know what's going on.
Dunk, dunk.
Okay, we should get moving.
yeah.
So basically, behind you is this steel door. It's not giving way, but it's definitely some knocking at it. And there is a very long corridor in front of you, badly lit, sort of hewn walls of very red rock. That sort of gives you away that you possibly could be on Mars. And just in the sort of distance, we're probably talking a good 500 meters. That's about 1,500 feet for people that don't understand the metric system. There is clearly a light source down that far away. So I'm going to turn to Coda. Because you were one of the first through the door. What do you want to do?
We need to get down this hallway. But quite frankly, my ability to sense traps, anything of that sort, is pretty crap. I'm better off like right behind whoever's running point. But we need somebody to run point. So I look at Fissure and say, you're pretty handy with that gun. We might want you in the back in case they break through, but I'm guessing you're pretty good at scouting ahead.
Can you smell radiation?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, that's not a rhetorical question. I'm asking if you can smell radiation because I can. So,
well, that means that your senses are
yeah,
better than mine.
yeah.
I mean, I can spell desire, but
Yeah. Rook,
I might be able to see it if it's in certain patterns, and I point at my eyes and they flicker. I have enhanced eyes, so I can see the electromagnetic spectrum. I can see gamma rays.
okay.
Yep.
Are you a combat specialist?
Yeah.
Good. And I
then
hand you the assault rifle.
And I smile and, okay, well, I'm on point then. And
I'm
then,
in the middle. Pretend I'm the squishy one.
You okay with that, Hex?
I can be in the back if you want. I can throw the club at the shrimps.
why doesn't the pleasure pod take the back with the pistol?
Okay.
I have a name, you know. I mean, it's kind of demeaning for you to just say the pleasure pod.
Oh, I'm sorry, we haven't made our full introductions yet. Hi, and I prop the assault rifle. My name is Rook. I'm a mercenary. Nice to meet you.
My name's Aaliyah. I go by Coda, and I have some skills, a certain set of skills, if you will, most of which don't involve shooting things. So, and I point at Hex and say, Hex went to town on these things with a crowbar.
A weapon of choice. But we can switch if you want.
I'm just saying I would like to be in the middle someplace. In your case, if they start coming up behind us, I'll just take up a position and fire over your shoulder to make sure I don't hit you.
All right.
You know, if you want me right behind whoever's doing point, I can again fire over your shoulder and make sure I don't hit you.
I'd
But,
rather have you in the back with me.
Dunk, 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 and it
let's
starts
get
to
moving.
raise just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see a line of light coming under that door now.
I think we got our marching order.
Okay, down the corridor it is
Down
then.
the corridor. Down the corridor.
Less marching, more running.
Yes. Quick, you know, like that SWAT team sort of moving
SWAT
forward.
team advance.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's only 500 meters. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a marathon. So, you know, no grim truth traps here. 500 meters. You go along this hewn corridor. It's definitely quite large. You know, you could fit a vehicle down here. Is it 5? I don't know.
He's joking. He's joking.
He's joking. And eventually, so you know, you got the strobing sort of fluorescent tube lighting, which again is quite unusual. You know, lighting has advanced since then, but you finally get to an area where it opens up to the left of you. So the corridor's still going on, but just to the left of you is a vehicle. In fact, and I will again attempt. No, I won't, because I don't know where that's gone. Where is that? What's gone wrong here? What could possibly go wrong? Share. Here we go.
Dr. Morbius again.
It is Dr. Morbius again. Why can I not get a vehicle on here? Loads of not shows. There we go. Something that looks very much like that. So a 4x4 sort of ATV, quite small. It's got a crew cab, so you can fit 4 people in there. One, you could remove the stuff on the back if you want open top. The mounted plate on the top, it has got floodlights, but there is no sort of mounted weapon system at all. That's just sort of LiDAR, that kind of stuff up there, just in case you thought that's what that was. So, yeah.
Hex says, I can drive.
Good.
I give him, yeah. We need somebody who should ride shotgun, though.
You know, pat the assault rifle, leap into shotgun.
I want to take a look around in the vehicle or anywhere around it, any kind of suits, respirators, anything like that.
Good call. So, yeah, you dive in looking in the back of the vehicle, and indeed there is some stuff in there. There are 2 respirators. There is 1 suit of cold weather clothing, so a full parka and some sort of like padded insulated trousers. There is another weapon in there. There is a submachine gun.
Jesus.
So with a couple of clips in there, and there is also a knife. Quite a good size. You know, we're not talking penknife here.
Yeah, but because I've already been warned off from this, when I see that stuff, I pull my hands back. I throw up the door and I say, "Here's all this stuff that belongs to our collective. I don't need respirators. or the cold weather gear?
I like the way you phrased that. Not sure if it was ironic though.
Just want to make sure that we're all on the same team here. May I take the submachine gun?
Be my guest.
Thank
Be
you.
a reasonable member of our collective.
Yeah. And I say, any of you, I don't know what your bodies can tolerate. I can probably handle things.
I would appreciate a respirator. And I think we should give the knife to our melee specialist. I know how to use them, and I usually can get up close with people when I display my assets. So I don't need the cold weather gear. That would actually impede my effectiveness. But at the same time, I suspect Hex is better with such tools than I am.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm just no good at hand-to-hand.
I can do that.
Extends a pair of claws from his fingers.
Oh, nice.
How many cold weather gears were there?
Just
one, I think.
2 respirators, 1 set of cold weather clothing. But clearly the vehicle is heated. Well, there's a heater button. Whether it's heated or not, you don't know.
I look around and at the other 3 and I say, look, if anyone has to get out of the vehicle at any point, I'd nominate myself. So I'm going to take the cold weather gear. This pod's suited for a lot of things, but it's not suited
Sounds good.
for the temperature.
Yeah.
You 2 should take the respirators, I guess. I mean, I don't know. The cold weather gear, I guess, doesn't include a respirator, does it? I suppose.
No, it's just cold weather clothing. So you.
And I take the cold weather clothing and the respirator, and I toss the other respirator to Coda. And I say, the driver's never going to leave the car anyways, right?
I'm not planning to leave this car at all.
Ever.
Yeah, well, that's the dramatic foreshadowing, right? For when we leave the car behind with Hex's corpse, like down, cut out his cortical stack, get out of there. Yeah.
Excellent. So I got the feeling that you want to start this bad boy up. Almost. Yeah. I keep mentioning traps too much, and everybody's really paranoid.
I'm starting the vehicle.
Excellent. It clocks over just. You're pretty sure that it may have been some time since it was last run up, but it does. And it is good. And I think nobody's in a robot body. Okay, that is fine. I think with your I think this is good for you, Rook. Make a we want to see if you can notice something. So there is indeed a skill called Perceive. Is there? No, there's not. There is Task. Perceive.
There is Perceive, yeah.
Yeah.
Make a Perceive check, but I will give you plus 1d10 for your enhanced hearing or vision.
Awesome. So what do I roll?
How many skill points have you got in Perceive?
Perceive, I have, I think, 7.
7. So add another d10. Nothing's going to come off for environmental conditions or anything. So roll 8d10. I think I did drop a link for roll for your party, but I can drop one in chat again if you want it. It's slightly clunky, but it does work. There we oh, 2 1s, but we have the magical 10. Full success. Excellent. You can definitely hear multiple things coming down from where you've been. And they're within
enhanced hearing, so
you have enhanced hearing, so you can definitely hear it. Probably before anybody else is going to hear it. But you definitely know something is moving at speed down that corridor, and at least is more than 2.
Drive. and I prop myself around with the assault rifle, like twisted around to shoot through the back window if necessary.
I think to hightail it out of here, that's going to be a drive check.
Yeah, I want it to look spectacular as well. So,
well, yeah, let's have some cool wheel spinning. Hopefully,
I have 5 things. So 5d10, 5d10. Submit. And the best one is a 9.
Still pretty good. So I think you do spin this thing out here. Yeah, but as your hand indicated there, you go somewhat to the right and it sort of smashes off the wall. So let's say your rear mudguard sort of leaves itself in this location. But hey, you know, mudguards were just invented for the faint-hearted, I think. And you speed down this corridor. You know, you finally straighten it up. Yeah. I don't think you see these things at all, Rook, but you definitely knew they were there. So it sort of sounds like you're on the back of the vehicle, are you? Or are you hanging out the door?
Leaning out the door, because we're still inside the base, aren't we? So it's still...
Yeah, leaning out the door. That sounds kind of cool. So we've got...
Probably swore as Hex nearly knocked me off, nearly sideswiped me into the wall, you know?
And of course, you know, it's got to have more than just 2 doors. So, yeah. Down this corner, and you finally emerge on the surface. And I think it is at this stage that your e-butlers, your muses, finally get a connection to some sort of planetary comms grid. Clearly a sort of a well-known entrepreneur. Quite a few years ago, dumped tons of satellites in orbit, so we've got some good comms going on. And from that, you can get a GPS fix, and from a GPS fix, you can get universal time coordinates. So I think I may even have a map. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. Let's share that screen because I quite like the share screen stuff now. There we go. So we can see the Titan quarantine zone to the left. And I think if you just come, I don't want to say like 2,000 kilometers because that's going to mean nothing to anybody. If you just come a little bit to the right, you can see Noctis Quaigio. Yep. My pronunciation skills are not particularly great. So you get a fix and you are just at the lower right-hand corner of that triangle, just to the right of Arisa Mons, a large mountain, just outside the TQZ.
I have a question for you, and you may be about to answer this. This TQZ is a quarantine zone. What is going to happen when we reach the border? Is it like the DMZ, or is it just a marked with a big fence kind of thing?
I don't think it's smart with a fence at all. I think there are posts, but what you can definitely see behind you now is various combat drones, should we say, some of them quite large, engaging from the air into the TQZ. You can see laser fire, you can see mesa fire, you can see sort of ballistic weapons going off and explosions behind you. I think, let me stop sharing. I would like you to make a sanity check, really, Fisher. I think this is reasonable.
That does seem reasonable.
And I will tell you sort of what horror you see behind you. So you see numerous Titan war machines being pounded by aircraft. Basically, these are sort of equivalent to Mecca. Basically, sort of storming to. I don't want to say following you guys. You guys exited just outside the TQZ. You were probably inside the TQZ underground. But you have exited just to the right of the TQZ. What do we got?
2 10s.
Well, that's really good. So having a quick check of the sanity, great success. I mean, you're a man of Mars, Fisher. You've seen Titans before, I think, or Titan war machines, not Titans. Titan war machines. Very rare. These ever awaken now, and they definitely normally live in the deep Titan quarantine zone. They wouldn't.
I think I look, I'm watching that, and I think I kind of look down and I reach down, something is rolling around under the seat, and I pick it up and I go, oh, awesome, a vape pen.
You can put that down. You have a vape pen. Why not? Seen that before. Yeah. So it is in a bit of a distance, but you can definitely hear various weapons fire, explosions, etc., etc. as you hightail it towards the east. I'm going to say, yeah. Let's have it slightly dramatic. The sun is going down, and it nicely silhouettes what's going on behind you as the sun finally creeps below the horizon. Flick on the lights, Hex. Yeah, yeah. They're muddied, but it's a good 4x4. You're pretty confident you can steer your way in the direction of Noctis. Now, I think something that's troubling all of you here is you finally get a time update. So Hex, tell me, give me a time difference between when you knew you were last alive and now.
I want to say, I mean, I was definitely in the outer system when the last I had memory. I want to say it's at least half a year.
At least half a year. Okay, I may come up with other stages to ask them, but so you're missing at least a good chunk of 6 months. Yeah, 6 months of memories are missing from you. Whether you were in cold storage that entire time or you are a fork and somebody has edited your memories, who knows? And you head towards Noctis, so it's a drive through the night.
I think Hex will use the opportunity because you're driving. They're getting tired a little bit to start a conversation.
Who would you like to have a conversation with?
Well, it's easiest probably with Rook, because he's driving shotgun, and they say, "So you obviously have shot a gun before. You're a mercenary."
Doing this since before the fall.
You've seen it. You've seen the fall.
I was there when it all went down. I was there when we left. I was there when Rio burned.
Well, I don't want to, switch with you. I've seen it from afar.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. But somehow I keep coming back to places like this.
What's the last thing you remember?
How long ago did you last between then and now, then, Rook?
I think it was 6 months.
6 months again. Okay, so 2 people there. You two carry on.
Yeah, I actually missed what Horst said, so I just.
What was the last thing you remember before waking up with some kind of relieving stress, I think?
It was in a synth mod, synth pod. I was working in the belt, and I was protecting the mining ships from pirates. I was investigating a signal. There was sort of a white flash, and then I'm here, and at least I'm in something good. Flex my fingers, let the claws out again. Maybe like a little crackle of electricity as the eel were. I looked over at yours and I said, "They really stuck you with the raw deal, huh?"
Well, You learn to work with your god in the outer system.
Yeah. But you need the right tools for the job.
The right tool is here, up here, man.
I'll make sure it stays there.
Nice.
I point out some rock or something that I can see with my enhanced vision. Yeah.
So you two in the back, then, I mean, this looks like, you know, you can all pull up based on your relative time and motion. This is going to be a drive through the night sort of thing. It's a crew cab, quite a reasonable size vehicle. So, you know, you two in the, you could easily relax here, get some shut eye if need be.
I have one question. Is there like a CD player or something, or a radio station or something?
I think there would still be radio. Probably a bit more radio than there maybe is sort of now. And yeah, you could definitely beam radio from satellite. So you know, but then you've got a Muse that can just play music and it could broadcast it to other.
Oh, I mean, it's got to be, you know, hey there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Radio Free Barsoom.
Yeah,
The TQC.
that would be cool. Or something with music is also good.
There's definitely music available, but yeah, you know, let's have some sort of, I don't want to say pirate radio station, but some Basoomian broadcast going on, probably you know over shortwave or something.
Pirate satellites in orbit.
Yeah, you could definitely, you know, hack in. You know, a good hacker could definitely throw down some airwave stuff, block out the corporate, you know, stuff for a while until it gets removed. And you definitely do hear mention that this is the Planetary Consortium is in its 6th day of action against the TQZ. You know, whatever riles that leftover Titan stuff up must be pretty serious. That's going Qantas from Total Recall. Something has definitely riled those bots up. You know, hopefully it doesn't you know, leave the TQZ. You know, we've got to thank the consortium for something. You know, there's stiffness in every other kind of way. Let's just hope all the tax money they take from us every single day has bought some damn good hardware to keep this at bay.
And at that point, I would like to go ahead and start hacking so that we can get music uninterrupted.
Certainly, yeah. So yeah, let's throw some dice down the range. I mean, the vehicle's got its own sort of you know, Wi-Fi bubble. There'll be an AI management system. You know, massively clipped back. But yeah, the vehicle can do stuff. So yeah, I think this comes under interface. Using
Okay.
networking software. So yeah.
All right. So that's 8d10.
8d10.
Roll here. 10, 9, 8, 5, 5, 3, 2, 2. So there's a 10, a 9, and an 8.
Okay, and I think the vehicle sort of then starts goes out and then starts playing you know, really quite, what do you want to have playing out, Coda? It's your call. So this is going to stream from your Muse through the vehicle, but you know, everybody in the vehicle probably thinks, oh, it's just, you know, coming down the radio.
Who's driving? Hex?
Yep.
I'm going to say, Hex, you're the driver. You're the one who needs to stay awake. What do you want?
Give me some country.
Do you want country and Western or just country?
Just straight up country.
All right. And I will find basically on an authentic Appalachian music channel that's fiddles and banjos and even a little bit of bluegrass in there. So there you go.
Hex nodding along.
The rest of you don't mind, I'm going to pass out and try to get some rest while we travel.
Sounds good. So in the front, we've got Hex and Rook. In the rear, we have Fisher and Coda. And yeah, you drive through. Do we have any other drivers, or is it just
Rook can drive, but he also is the shooter, I think.
Yeah, Rook can do all of the action hero stuff, basically.
Fisher?
Everybody's got all the skills covered.
I can back up shoot if Rook needs to drive for a while.
Yeah.
We've got a good rotation there, I think, of drivers
Yeah.
and shooters. So yeah, let's say you drive through the night, a bit of a rotation, so everybody gets at least a reasonable amount of shut-eye. It's not the world's. There's not many open roads. Mars is mostly the Planetary Consortium lay railroads, and clearly there's not going to be a railroad going to the TQZ. So roads are pretty poor quality dirt roads, but this is a nice 4x4. So yeah, you'll all get the required amount of sleep, which with modern engineered bodies is only about 4 hours required. So just as the sun is coming up, you pull round a ridge, and in front of you is Noctis. I'm going to just say Noctis from now on because I probably can't pronounce the second half that well. And you can see a massive line of vehicles outside the entranceway. It's a habitat or multiple habitats piled next to each other. So we've got some very large domes, small domes, large domes.
I will say to the group, so what kind of credentials does everybody have?
Good point, Fisher. Somebody with criminal?
I have some criminal knowledge, but here's the thing. I want to check, like, are we going to have an issue given our bodies and whatever, because I imagine that credentials are hardwired into bodies rather than us having wallets or whatever. Like taking a look around, kind of doing a quick check for each of us. Are we going to have a problem getting through into the city? That is my question, Paul. Like if I do a quick scan to assess that.
I think questions. So the questions that could get asked: criminal background. So unless somebody declares now that they are a criminal mastermind that's wanted.
I also have knowledge habitats.
Yeah, I think with your knowledge of habitats, this is full under PC control. So with your knowledge of habitats and its PC control, so the things criminals, anybody can visit, so it wouldn't be a problem if you came from the outer systems. Forks do have a set lifespan, so a bead fork is only legal for 72 hours. It must then be reintegrated into the main fork.
I will say, given that we don't know our status, I think it would be best for us to take an alternate route in.
I'm waiting for like 5 hours in this line anyways.
Yeah. I will say I have some knowledge of how that works. I will turn to Coda and I will say, I don't want to assume, but I assume that you also have some knowledge of how that works. I don't remember you telling us if you're from Mars or not, Coda.
I have knowledge of a wide range of subjects, including, well, I've done work for some organizations before, both legal and entrepreneurial, if you will.
Are you from Mars?
I'm from everywhere or anywhere that I need to be.
Okay. I suggest then, Hex, there's a smaller habitat with a worker transport pool over there. Let's go park over there. We'll get on foot and we'll see about talking to some folks to get in.
Can we maybe access the mesh from here?
There is definitely some mesh broadcast going out of Noctis, so you can access the mesh. And I think with two things is in Fisher's favour here. He does have knowledge of habitats, but he's also a Martian through and through. Noctis actually has a large river flowing through it. Now, it is only liquid during daylight hours, but it has a river flowing through it, both into it and out of it. Yeah, I think while you guys come up with a plan, this is a good time to take our first commercial break. So we shall break for 10 minutes, and we'll be back at 5 past the hour, if that's good with everybody.
Sound good?
See you all then. Welcome back, everybody, from our short break. Where we left it, the team had, I'm going to use team in the loosest sense, just got outside the city of Noctis, population approximately 13 million, and were looking down on the city, and they were trying to decide the best way to enter the city. So you'd ask Hex about the mesh. Did you want to further that? Or...
I mean, Fisher is the local. If you have like knowledge about where to park the car and get more information, we do that.
We'll try that. I'll with Coda's assistance, since she knows everything and is from everywhere.
Say that I know everything. I can usually get access to anything I need. But
are you talking through a sock pocket? Because it does sound like it.
Sorry, mic moved.
Yes, so we'll see if we can like do a quick recon chat, figure out a way in with the least amount of notice.
Yeah, I get the maneuver the car or the vehicle to the spot that Fisher mentioned or pointed out. I could access the mesh, and I do have some. What is the criminal rep? The G rep, I think.
G-Rep is network of triads, cartels, gangs, and other criminal groups.
Maybe they have smuggle routes into the city. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So on Mars, there's the Barsoomian smugglers, who are kind of like a sort of like independent Mars, free from the hypercore, Mars the Martian, variety of things. They're criminals, but also more like activisty types as well. And then you have, like in every space where humans are, you have the hardcore criminal groups and everything. So I suppose that would either be, I'd probably say like at rep would work for Barsoomians, as well as G rep would probably dictate which flavor of Barsoomian you go into.
Yeah, I have shitloads of at rep. My fellow revolutionaries on Mars could contact them.
Viva el Presidente, as they say.
That's not what we say.
So it sort of sounds like you want to reach out to try and then get some advice on clandestine ways to enter the city. So which one of those two would you like to dip into?
I would like to dip into the ad rep.
Okay. So yeah, as Rook pointed out, just scrolling through whatever's coming up in those kind of chat channels, you can definitely get the feeling that it'll be mostly Barsoomians in here, and not sort of high criminal groups. But it's definitely a lot of talk about what's riled up the leftover Titan mess. It must be something the consortium's done. And there's lots of talk about oppression. People getting bad pods. People that need gene fixing. Where they could have sworn they were given something that was guaranteed to last you know, and the body's now crumbling after, you know, 2 years of coming out of indenture. You know, they feel ripped off. So yeah, I think this is a roll against your at rep.
Which is 8.
You are the man.
Yes. 8. Blimey, there's a 10.
It's nicely how it has gone up throughout that roll. We had 1, 1,
Yeah.
4s, 6, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, you get a handle on a young lady that's willing to give you some advice. You know, and she's saying you've got to avoid the consortium. You know, they're holding everybody up in those vehicle lines. They're all people from outlying sort of projects. You know, clearly feel threatened, and the PC aren't allowing them in. You know, there's no way these people could be infected. So she's given us some advice to some people to now that it's thawed, the river. There's a couple of sort of sluice outflows. You know, she's saying the PC hardly ever sends their guys down into these outflows. You know, you could easily get in that way. You know, if not, workers on foot. You know, there's some day workers coming in. That could possibly another method. You will come across the PC, but they're a lot less likely to. You know, the guys on the main vehicle gates are pretty hardcore. Day workers, you know, there's some rapport there. Those guys are okay-ish.
And getting through the thawed water is like swimming, or what is the plan?
Oh no,
Driving?
that'll be outflow from you know, stuff that's built up because outside clearly the river you know, goes full freeze. So this is sort of water that's built up inside that'll just be outflowing now to rejoin the river outside the sea. So yeah, I don't think the PC mixing any sort of toxic discharge into that, or I haven't seen any effects, you know, of it. So it's sloshing. That'd be the worst that would happen to you. Sloshing through it.
Sloshing through it in the vehicle? Is that the plan? No. Then I will say I have liberated a vehicle for the movement. You can find it, and then I say where it is. Make good use of it, comrade.
That's really good, and sort of word then starts to spread out across the app rep as people talk about a vehicle for use by the movement. You know, I think this goes down a charity case. Somebody says, you know, they'd recently lost something. You know, that would be really handy for me. And as soon as this Titan mess blows over, you know, in fact, we're going to come out later today and grab that and head east, way away from here. Thanks, dude.
Welcome.
So you've got a possible line of entry into the sea.
Fisher, Brooke, who, you know, who's the local? Both of you, I guess.
No local.
Fisher, then.
Let's find ourselves a delightful and relatively untraceable hive of scum and villainy, and then we'll plan on how to get from there to Noctis, our particular side of Noctis. Sound good?
I'm in.
If I could have your assistance, Coda, in beating the bushes, as it were, to find out some criminal contacts. Sure.
Okay.
That's a
And
pretty good plan.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you can. I think you can see some vehicles that are sort of like encircled, and clearly they've been waiting some time, so they've set up some sort of some small little pressure tents. but mostly everything's sort of fostered around the vehicle. So I think we've got sort of 20 vehicles gathered around here. I think the biggest problems you're going to face is, apart from you're missing one respirator. You don't need one, Fisher, but you've only got 2 other respirators, and there's 3 biologicals that will need one. Cold weather gear would be nice, but I think if you could get reasonably close to one of these entrances, and it is daylight hours, so as long as you didn't stay in there for a long period of time, you probably would be okay without cold weather kit. But I think the low pressure atmosphere is going to get you. Yeah, I don't think anybody would die. There's a high chance somebody would pass out without a respirator.
Okay.
When you say carry who are you indicating to?
Hex. The whole team. Yes. No, Hex, I guess. Because Hex is the only one who doesn't have a respirator or the mods for it, right?
Could we could
Could have
somebody
traded well, you traded the vehicle without getting a respirator and cold weather gear?
well, I didn't think about this. Could one of us go infomorph? Is that possible? Inside somebody? Or do you have to have like a super brain?
You would need you could definitely carry that side of somebody, but no, for that person to actually be able to do anything, you would need a modified morph that could take
Yeah.
2.
Rook pulls out the knife, extends his claws and says, well, we could always just take your stack. I promise we'll find you a pod on the other side.
Well, I'd rather stay in this one for
I think
now.
he'd be more useful.
Listen, we're looking at extreme options instead of saying, hey, why don't we look for another respirator? Hey, why don't we find a place to bunker down here for the night? Hey, why don't we ask the lightest member of the team, and here I point a thumb at myself, to give up the respirator to somebody who could give me a piggyback ride? And I look at Rook and Fisher.
And here was me thinking that you'd use your charms, maybe convince someone they could spare a respirator.
Like I said, why don't we do that? I see 3 options that don't involve your claws.
Yeah.
Maybe trade the vehicle. I mean, it's already liberated and everything, but maybe the Bazoomians could spare 1 respirator for like 10 minutes.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, I think you just need to. I'm going to give you an extra dice on your at rep because
I'm hacking back in. Hey.
Well, people sort of now know of you on here, and you've done a good deed. So try to drum up enough, and I think what you're asking for is not too hard. So roll 9d6,
Work.
and let's see what we get.
I get another 10.
I take it does put it in order, does it?
Yeah, it does it.
It must do. Yeah. See, I'm just going to keep looking at the right hand side. Makes life easy. So we have a 10. Oh man, are you using your name Hex?
Yeah.
As in your handle?
Yeah, my handle Hex. I go by Hex.
Go by Hex. You're such a good person, Hex. Yeah, of course. I'm in this vehicle, sort of motorcade. Yeah, come in our vehicle. I can easily spare a spare respirator for you. And you turn up. This guy, he's more than happy to hand over a respirator. You're doing a good thing for the movement, Hex. This is the least we can do. 1 vehicle for a respirator. It's a steal if we weren't stealing it.
No worries. As I said, as long as you make good use of it.
Of course.
Mars will be
that to go Far East.
Mars will be free. Do the hand gesture.
So you've now all got a respirator. So I think we're all in a good situation. Environmental effects aren't going to instantly debilitate anybody. Basically, you just got to get in the city before sundown, before cold weather has an effect on to people that either aren't immune to it or haven't got cold weather clothing. But hey, how hard can it be to enter a city of 13 million people? That's a lot of people. It doesn't really matter how big those high rises are. It's still quite some surface area. So,
Then in that case, I'll see about walking us in. I'm from Mars. I know habitats. I'll try and scoot us along.
Okay. So you're not going to look for this underground sort of pipe entrance. You're now thinking more of a let's go in with some day workers, a sort of
Yeah, I think with the day
entrance.
workers rather than the pipe. I want to see if that, because we can fall back to a pipe option, but let's go simple first.
Like it. So you join the slightly slow moving queue. A lot of disgruntled people, and the sort of talk is that clearly what's ever happening in the quarantine zone has got Noctis ridiculously twitchy. They're doing a lot more checking. They're looking for people that have been Basilisk hacked. Cyber brains. They're looking for anybody that's been taken over. You cannot be too careful. Even in this day and age, that Titan stuff is evil. So you slowly make your way to the front of the queue, and clearly, it's not just a magical entranceway. You can see as you get closer to the front, they've got various hand scanners. The guy's quite heavily armored, and sort of built into the entranceway are a couple of fixed. I don't want to say heavy weapons, but large weapons, training down onto the populace, trying to get in. And yeah, these guys are full armor, full breather sets, doing various scans on people. That you don't have to produce papers. Clearly, everybody's muse can hand over whatever they've got.
I will turn to the group, the three others besides myself, and I will say, this could go very fucking wrong here very quickly. Let me go first. Why don't you all fall back a unit or two in the line? That way, if shit goes off the handle, you've got a little bit of room to run. Sound good?
Okay.
If by any chance that happens and you could save me, that'd be appreciated. But let's start from this premise first.
Is there any way that I can help you out by, I don't know, hacking your identification?
We don't know what my ID is supposed to be now. We're going to find out. We don't know what the status is. Once we do that, if you want to like hack and keep a monitor so you know what it is that they are scanning around for, that'd be cool.
We don't have the weapons, I assume, at least the machine gun and stuff, or do we? And what is the rules concerning that? I don't think that they will let people with a assault rifle in, or do they?
No, the sort of feel that Fisher gets from. So when was the last? So we found out from two other people, Fisher, when they were last awake, that they can remember. How long since then to now for yourself?
I think they said 6 months before, right?
They did. You can go big, you can go
No,
small.
I think I want to go 6 months as well. I think my last memory is me on my knees with a gun to my head, and with the people that I had been informing on having figured out that I was in fact a sleazy traitor to their terrorist group. And I remember getting a bullet put in my head casing.
That's some good backstory. Like it lots. So another 6 monther. So yeah, your knowledge that sort of Martian habitats, you can you wouldn't get away with anything really larger than a pistol without a sort of valid license. And open carry is discouraged.
Yeah. So can we assume then that we have like sold / traded off our weapons to people outside on the way in?
I'm happy to do that.
What about the metal bar that I have that could easily, that was actually a tool. I think
it was a wrench. It was a large wrench,
Yeah.
so there's no way that's going to come off you unless somebody really dislikes you. You know, you're in a workers' queue. I
Yeah.
think that's going to fit quite well, really. Actually, I think that might go the other way.
Yeah, it works in my favor. The knife is in the boot, though.
Yeah, a knife is it's a concealable weapon, and you know, I think it's perfectly legal to carry a knife.
Not
I
in
would
Amsterdam,
like
but
to reach out to some of my contacts to see if I can find anything out about this crossing before Fissure is our canary in the coal mine.
Okay.
Maybe see if I can get somebody to walk us through.
This sounds. If you want to reach out to people, this will be a rep area.
I'm looking at either Guanxi or CivicNet. See if I can either get one of the Hypercorps or one of the Triads in the area to help us out, with the promise that I'll do them a solid.
Hypercore route, that would be C-Rep. If you want to go the other side of the fence, your pick.
I mean, either way, it's going to be 4 dice. Unless you're willing to give me a bonus for something that I am not aware of yet. Like, is there an intense Hypercorp presence in Noctis, or, you know, intense Triad activity of some sort?
I don't want to say intense on either of those two. It's just reasonably standard as it is. So that sort of sounded like a bit of flat roll. And as you say, you've got
4d10.
4d10. So your C-Rep is 3, yeah?
C-Rep and G-Rep are both. Oh, C-Rep is 3, G-Rep is 4. I was getting confused with our rep.
Choice is yours, but clearly probability would say G-Rep is a better roll.
Yep, I want to go ahead and go with G-Rep, see if I can get a criminal element to help us through.
Okay.
And I think this program likes me because there's a 10, a 7, and a 5.
Superb. So yeah, nothing affects your rep there with a roll of 10. It's not going to decrease by 1. You can, I mean, it's quite short notice, but you can. They're willing to cause a slight distraction on the other side of the gate. So yeah, that should have an effect on the guards and how long they're going to interact with somebody. So I'm happy to throw an extra dice in the pool for the for Fisher. Distracted guards. Sound good? Is that what you wanted?
Unless they can get us through, or we can all run through.
Sorry, I thought Coda was fixing the problem, so I kind of tuned out.
I was kind of hoping that that would fix the problem.
That's, you know, they can't just get the gate open and these guards off the premises. The best they can do is cause a small distraction.
Okay.
Really, you know, it's such a short notice, and it's quite a large ask. You know, they don't want to engage really with the guards. So, but they will provide a distraction. Clearly, there's something wrong with one of the indentures that are coming in. So they're going to cause a ruckus on the back end of the thing. Now we could go a bit of group mechanics, maybe.
I mean, I'm willing to let Fisher go up and push. You know, make the case for all of us. I think, like, he's our face, right?
I have infiltrate. I have a really good infiltrate. So essentially, I want to just kind of try and slide in, make sure that there's nothing like some hellacious security thing that gets set off the second that we step through. That's my main concern.
Can we look at the mechanics for the second, because this is a play test. what would be more advantageous if Fisher gets like helping dice, for example, from Coda, or is it easier if we do a group thing and Fisher is leading? How does it work?
We've got a bonus D10 from Coda going. So if just one roll was made, the bonus would be used on that. So that's good in that respect, rather than he used it, time has passed, there's now no distraction, and the next guy needs it. So probably that would work well. So the group mechanic.
I tell you what, we want Fisher to get in, right? But I have no security ops.
So the dice would be removed.
So the question about the hellacious security thing, perhaps I could answer that on a no security ops roll and just say like, oh, this is the setup for the Martian Planetary Consortium. They do this. This is the sort of standard gear we'd expect to find here. But I feel like maybe we're overcomplicating the roll to get through an obstacle rather than get through the obstacle. We're sort of.
I think Fisher is in a good position to do a group action. One roll. You know, as long as nobody looks suit. So we're going to use infiltrate, escape and detection. So yeah,
8. I still have that carryover +1, so I'll go to 9.
Yeah.
Plus the work that Coda did is 10, and then we take.
Everybody has a skill in infiltrate, so nobody's going to really sort of make you look stupid.
Okay. So did you say it was like take 1 die off for each extra person?
Only if they were unskilled.
Oh, they're unskilled.
Everybody's got some skill in infiltrate,
Cool.
so you know they've got some good bluff.
Well, then he said, then there's almost no chance I could fail.
96, hardly any.
Submit. There's a 9.
9, success.
And that's the only 9.
Yeah. I think he will you know, walk you through your muses, quickly pulling up data and throwing it onto his data pad. You know, this clearly isn't you, but your muse is really doing a good job of overwhelming his system with information. I think the only thing he picks you guys up on, he points out that you know, you're fine to come in, but your legal status says you're only good for 72 hours, beaters. You better reconnect with your main fork in that time.
That's why we're trying to get back in. You know,
makes sense to me, guy. Gals, get yourselves in there then. You know, get back to your host now. And yeah, so it's sort of revealed that all of you are beta forks. For anybody that doesn't know a bit about Forken, basically you can slice your brain up using psychosurgery into sort of different parts. You got your main alpha, which is you with as much knowledge as you've got. Beta forks are normally sliced off to remove some memories just in case they get captured, etc. And you know, they can really be pruned, or they can be the sort of nearly the full element. And then you go into subsequent forks that have got less and less and less information, to just so that you really cut it down to put it inside a machine. It's still just about you, but less and less and less as you fork them down the sort of alphabet street. So beta fork is pretty good. The legal status in some places that they count as full people. Here on Mars, definitely Martian cities controlled by the PC. They've got a legal lifespan of 72 hours. Now I think Fisher's muse has just sort of put up that you've just gone off to do a quick task. All of in, you've come back. So I'm going to put 71 hours on a clock. I haven't got a 72 clock slice, but yeah, we can have a good bit of 24.
Yes.
You know, Jack Bauer. You are now in Noctis. It is a classic sort of Basumian city. You will see everything. With 13 million people, we're talking something sort of easily bigger than London and a lot of places. It's big, but it is quite hyperdense living. It's got a sort of bit of a Arabian feel to it. You do have those sort of open souks. There is this massive river right going through the center of Noctis. It's nicely lit. It's a pretty high class place. There's clearly towers dictating various hypercores, that are doing business in the city.
Is there any kind of air traffic, or is it like different levels where people move on
There'll be a
sky?
lot of drone traffic.
Mhm.
So people won't really move about much in 3D. There'll be some walkways between buildings. So hypercore don't really want to mix with non-hypercore people. So there'll be some traffic between them, but there are a lot of buzzers, delivery drones, etc. Clearly, somebody finally succeeded with drone deliveries. And yeah, they seem to have cracked it here. You can see various neon lit food delivery drones, going by, various sort of poked sort of music or announcements coming out of these drones as they flitter by at low level on sort of quadcopters, etc., etc.
So, Fisher, some kind of, I don't know, place where we could go that is connected? Should we go through the mesh, or should we do person to person? What's the best approach to find out about Dr. Mobius?
I think we find ourselves a little place where literally we can plug in for a couple of hours. And then, like you say, I think each of us needs to check the mesh as we have through our contacts and see what we can dig up location-wise. So I think like my first thing is finding us a place that we can be reasonably anonymous for the next, say, 6 hours.
Do some research. Yeah, like it.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. Get the other people set up to do their hunting down of info.
And just to confirm, we left behind our submachine gun and our assault rifle.
Yeah, probably in the car. We traded off outside of the queue. I don't know.
Yeah, which we traded it for some stuff on the way. Like I would have done that, so maybe we have a few bucks to our name to like.
I mean, C-Rep is sort of leveraged through money normally. So that gives everybody your sort of C-Rep right, and then clearly you can now link it to bank accounts that are in your name. That will give you access to various funds if you have them.
Then let me go make some withdrawals, get some walking around creds, distribute that out to everybody, and if everybody can start tapping their sources, hitting the mesh.
You can definitely find a sort of backstreet sort of cafe. I want to say cyber cafe. We've all sort of seen those kind of places in various programs.
So it's a retro.
Like look as if the coffee ain't great, or whatever they're calling coffee in this day and age. But clearly, not a lot of questions are asked on these. As long as you pay for your booth time, you guys are in reasonably a good position. Doesn't look there's not too many spines around recording. This place looks quite on the low, really.
If you guys get some details, get us to find out our direction, even if you need to get ourselves armed or whatever, or assess the security situation, then I can work after that on how do we get from A to Z here. But I'll hand it off to all of you.
I'm hitting the ad rep, obviously, or I'm using my ad rep. It's probably the way to say it.
Okay. I mean, what sort of tasks we got at large here? Clearly, you want to find Dr. Mobius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could either, I just don't want, well, if 4 people want to have a go at trying to find Dr. Mobius, we can go down that route, but somebody might want to do something else.
What is the,
I was going to say, I have the research network rep, right? It's only 3, but he's Dr. Mobius, right? A scientist. So
There is also a research skill
Yes,
as well.
there is, yeah, which people are very good at.
So you can either reach out to scientists and say, does anybody know Dr. Mobius? Where does he hang out? Where does he live? That would be through rep, or just sort of hitting the keys, trying to narrow him down by research methods would be research. So that's two methods to find Mobius, using either research rep or research skill.
I mean, he was working in that facility, or not working, but he was in the facility in the Titan quarantine zone. Maybe you could research that place. Why was he there?
Yeah, you could research TQZ experiments and stuff. I guess. Well, that's the only skill I've got in terms of doing anything useful. I think in prep, lay low stuff is my rep scores. I am literally built for nothing other than I have no Titan tech, I suppose. But otherwise, I guess if somebody it looks as though other people have got better skills for find Dr. Mobius, right? So that priority 1 is find Dr. Mobius, right? Priority 2 would maybe be like hit ourselves out with something good for when we find him, right? And my contacts are all planetary consortium, and due to the circumstances that we're in, I don't think that would necessarily work that well for us. I don't want to be on their radar particularly.
I just want you to have a gun of
Yeah,
some kind.
That is a good point. If we're in a relatively private area now, I will take my sidearm out and Fisher, did you have a gun?
Not after we went inside. Remember, we couldn't take our guns in.
The assault rifle and everything. So I'll just take out the pistol and say, hey, who wants this? Both of you two are better shots.
I'll take it.
And then I'll say, let me see if I can find out something from the corporations. Because a quarantine zone is exactly where they might be trying to do or hide some very shady things.
Should we do in terms of what I think makes sense for action, I think in order, I think trying to find Dr. Mobius first, and the information about him here in the city is probably at least one of the top ones. And then maybe, it's either find guns or Dr. Mobius first. Because those feel like parallel ones. And then we can use other skills to gain other angles on the information that we find out about Dr. Mobius. If we turn up nothing in our first search for Dr. Mobius, then we can ask about the corporate stuff. We turn up Dr. Mobius and it turns out that he joined 9 Lives and he's part of the triad or whatever, right? That focuses our questions.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, Horst, Hex, do you want to use your research skills to?
Yeah, I've researched 4 or at rep 8.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think the highest research person would be the good one to do
the research one,
which is actually our lovely local
Coda.
Oh no, huh?
We got research 6 by Fisher, but hey, we've clearly got some people that have got some research and one person that has got no research. Yep. So somebody with research, try and find Mobius. Maybe as backup, somebody with research rep, maybe tries to find out what Mobius has been researching. Maybe some other people know what Mobius has been up to. That might be an option. Somebody mentioned maybe getting some hitting some contacts to get some extra firepower, or to replace some firepower.
Coda has research rep, and Fisher has a Google Fool.
Yes. So, who's going to do the first roll to find out Mobius? That's the question.
I guess Fisher, right? Fisher said we should do it, but clearly he has the best.
Fisher's our guy to get as our guns, I guess, right?
Okay, cool. I do
so-
the all right. I do the
well, to get guns, you probably want to hit criminal elements,
criminal,
don't you?
yeah. Jump
G-Rep,
sheet.
sorry, G-Rep,
Yeah.
I meant G-Rep. Oh no, Fisher has no G-Rep.
No, I have a
He's
lot.
got G-Rep. Okay, then so you're the guns guy.
Okay, I wait for until we find out where
Yeah.
Mobius
So
actually is.
Coda, do you want to speak to the research people, or no? You don't have research rep, do you? I do.
I do have research, but it's
sorry.
not the
Coda's-
highest skill in the party.
Fisher does.
You've
You've
what's
got the highest R rep.
is R. You've got the
Oh.
highest research rep.
Apparently I do. I'm sorry. I thought I saw a higher research rep.
No, there's a
Probably
lot
due
of
to the long
reps.
line.
You probably saw, another rep, but you have got very good research rep, Coda. When I say very good, better than a lot of others. So you're going to hit up what Mobius was up to, possibly. Fisher's going to try and track down Mobius through various public databases, phone book, etc., equivalent of. And who wants to go on the weapons hunt? If you do want to get better weapons, you don't have to.
Weapons.
Okay, we got Hex looking. He's gonna you're gonna hit up some hoodlums, are you? To try and get some better weapons. Okay, that sounds good. That only leads Rook, who's come up with a lot of plans and now doesn't do anything.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I have a pistol, and I back anybody up when they go to meet people or do anything like that.
Sounds good.
And hey, Hex, like guns and stuff are so noisy. So if you want to get me something hand to hand, that'd be fine by me.
Okay. Deadly or like stunning?
Deadly probably is more threatening to people, so probably that.
Gotcha.
If you can get me a laser, a hand laser, maybe something concealable, but maybe a monofilament sword, particle beam bolter, anything up to a rail gun, or I'll take what you can get. The heavier firepower.
You're writing this down? I'm talking to my AI.
It is. It's taking the full approach and saying that's a large shopping list.
I'll say,
it'll have
why
a
don't we
good sort
limit
of
it to
joke.
tools, like a cutting laser that's not going to get us, noticed because it's an actual tool that a worker would carry with them.
Okay, if you want a cutting laser, sure. I'll get you one. You need a tow? I'll get you a tow.
Will it have green nail polish?
That would cost extra or something. I don't know.
So I think we're definitely in some role positions here. Let's go for it. Let's try and find out if we can find Mobius. So this is a bit of research.
This is research rep, so this is my role, correct?
No, not research rep. This is pure research. This is Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is 6 dice Fisher.
That sounds cool. Do that. Let me clear the room. Hang on.
It's clear.
That is a 10.
Oh, you guys are killing me. So your score doesn't depreciate by 1, which is a good position to be in. Mobius there is some public information on Mobius. So you track him down. You do get an exact house. So he's clearly of some wealth. And he is in the sort of south. He's in the sort of west of the city. You've got exact details. I'm not going to create some fictitious.
Sure.
53
street name.
53 Lonsdale Gate.
We'll get like any kind of public comms code that we have for him.
You can
don't want to communicate with him yet. I want us to, once everything is set, we're going to go stake the place out first before we do anything.
You've definitely got some info on how to contact him if you need to.
Okay. Cool.
Excellent. Now let's go to Coda. You want to sort of find out what Mobius was up to.
Okay.
So hitting the REP. So you have 4 dice in that.
8862.
Hey, we got success, not just the world's greatest success.
Now I take 1 point off of our rep for that, correct?
You do lose 1
Okay.
for the skill pool. I mean, it will come back later. So yeah, you know, you've interrupted clearly some sort of quite high level chat going on here with what some people here consider quite low level stuff. But you do find out that Mobius has been investigating 2 things. For a long time, he's been investigating Titan activity. That's something Mobius has been for a long period of time investigating. And I'd probably say in the last year, he's definitely asked a lot of research questions and some practical advice on re-sleeving and sleeving.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah.
It probably confirms a lot of things that you already know.
Yeah, wow.
It is a confirmation. So you now know there is a guy in the city called Dr. Mobius. You know where he lives, and you know he is a sort of a research doctor. You know, reasonably prolific, keeps himself to himself, but he has reached out within research circles on numerous occasions, Coda. And now the pirate's life for you. Can you get anybody to sort of? Are you trying to go for the full shopping list, or?
I mean, clearly, Rook needs to have a laser pistol. Fisher needs some kind of melee weapon. And Coda just wants a tool to cut stuff. That should be possible. I have my club. I'm happy.
Okay, sounds good. So we now know what you want. Let's see if you can achieve it. So make a. I like how it's called G-Rep. It's sort of got gangster built into the title, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have some G style going down. What do we get?
We got.
You're killing me again.
I'm so sorry. There were 2 1s and a 2. What?
But the big 10 is there. So I'm going to give you everything you've asked for because I don't think that's unreasonable. Not the railgun. You get a laser pistol because you asked for a laser pistol. You get you can answer this question. So the laser, who makes the laser pistol? You pick a maker on the weapons tab of the laser pistol.
That's for Will, right?
No. I'm going to let you have the pick of the name. Will can tell me what makes it kind of look like that, but you get to say who it is.
Okay, so do we have some goofy names?
You can come up with something, but there's some on the maker list on the weapons tab.
Yeah, I see. Feral Spirit.
Feral Spirit, yeah. I mean, it's got to be like,
What's a Feral Spirit laser pistol look like?
I mean, they are like pretty cheap laser pistols as far as such things go, but what they are is that they're completely decaled in like tribal tattoos and obnoxious like, symbols. You know, they look like they spent a gap year in Hawaii or whatever, right? Like
the big tribal sort of yeah. So let's have some sort of laser etching, acid etching all over this thing. Yeah, looks a bit cheap, but hey, it does look cool in a sort of hold out, push in your face, I'm a gangster kind of look.
The Triads love this.
Yeah, and it's a laser pistol. It will cut through flesh and metal, which is what I was mainly thinking of. And it's concealable, which is the best part about it.
So we've got a cutting torch. So that's not the weapon that I think is called a torch, which is a flamethrower. That's a big spray area. But yeah, I'd probably put down as equipment rather, Coda, that you've got a cutting torch. I think this is more in the sort of alien style, sort of like a gas welder, sort of, but clearly a lot smaller than a acetylene torch kit. It's sort of all self-contained. Yeah, you could easily burn somebody's eyeball with this if you were so inclined. Do some nasty damage at short range with it. And we wanted a melee weapon, didn't we? So
I go for U plus.
U plus. So you got a vibro blade, a U plus vibro blade, hex. So we got what is so good about a U plus? What makes a U plus vibro blade look kind of special?
Well, it's for Fisher, so I don't want to talk for Lowell.
Do you want to describe U plus weapons? What makes U plus U plus?
I think a U plus weapon is designed to be sort of the IKEA of weaponry. It is done with like a universal ergonomic weaponry. Everything is they're not very good, but they're meant to be like easy to use and have a look that everybody recognizes because it's kind of crap.
Like it. So yeah, it's got a nice different color button. It's quite large, easy to press. Activates the vibro blade. Like it. So on the board we've got U plus that are a bit IKEA like. We've got Feral Spirit with the cheap but decaled in tribal tattoos, and we've got Aqua 66 with the glass like weapons. Like it, we're racking through that list at a good rate of knots. So everybody's either got a piece of equipment or a weapon or are happy where they are. Let's take a break for. Let's go for 5 past the hour when we're back, folks. And I still remember, Lowell, what you said.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody, for the last part of this play. We find the players in Noctis, and they've just got some more weapons to replenish the ones that they left outside. Few different weapons, and they now know of Morbius's location and what he's been up to recently. What do you want to do now, folks?
Go there?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I think we play it real careful. Let's hit the area. Let's do a survey of it. Like, see if there are other people watching his place. See if we can spot him. Because it's clearly no coincidence that he was in the fucking Titan demilitarized zone when all this shit went down.
Yeah.
So he may be involved with this. I mean, there's no clue about what is actually happening.
Maybe he's trying to stop it. Maybe he's caused it. Who knows? Let's be careful, guys.
So let's drop you in the area of Morbius's house. It's a reasonably standard Martian affair. Whatever a Martian house looks like, this is it.
Is it like a high rise? Probably, right?
No, I think you got enough information that he clearly must have some standing and money. Because it's PC, so yeah, this guy's not living in a, he's not in a mega city block. He has his own place. It's a 3-story sort of townhouse type affair. Yeah, he is clearly a man of some wealth, it would seem.
I'm excited.
Is it gated somehow? Is it like obviously protected?
Yeah. I think we've just got a low, when I say low, sort of 5-foot wall going around. So I'm thinking quite sort of Afghani sort of thing. So there'll be some space than the building itself. So it's got a full perimeter, low wall sort of thing, enough to stop spying eyes, but not enough it wouldn't be too hard to bunk over it, sort of thing. So you mentioned you want to sort of surveil it for a period. Okay. Clearly, you then look down the skills list, and there is no surveillance. What have we got that's similar to surveillance?
Perceive?
Yeah, perceive would be ridiculously close to surveillance, wouldn't it? So yeah, casing the joint.
Or no security ops.
Ooh, that's a good point.
That's a good point. What does it
Or
say?
criminal. You just mentioned casing the joint.
I mean, where
No
Rook
security ops would definitely give you some information on, you know, how secure it is. So that's a good use of no security ops. No criminal. Yeah, I think that would tell you some, you know, criminally about it if there is something. And clearly, perceive is ridiculously good for case now. Maybe we could do a couple of no rolls, and then for the two remaining people that aren't knowy, I think this sounds like a bit of a, you know, front and back of the building. So I think this sounds like yeah, perceive. So does somebody want to take the front of the building? Somebody take the rear of the building? We can have two perceive rolls there, front and rear, and a couple of no rolls.
I think Hex and Rook have the best perceive. Rook has the highest, right?
And Rook is also the security ops man.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I would say,
I'll keep an eye out.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Hex, front or back? Fisher will take the opposite, and then Coda and Rook will go for the no rolls.
Yeah.
What do you want, front or back, Hex?
Front.
You're the front man. You're the back man, Fisher.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Wait, hold
on. So I think we'll start with the no rolls.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to be in back with Fissure.
Okay.
Just because I think that going in the back is probably more criminally related, whereas the security ops might be on the front.
Fair enough.
Does that seem, Will, does that seem sensible?
seems perfectly fine to me. I will
Okay.
make my no security ops roll. 210.
This.
Don't know why I bother. Don't know why I bother.
Give Paul something to work with.
Yeah. Clearly, I need to degrade the amount of skill points. So there is, you know, that it will be protected by there'll be an AGI, sort of a limited intelligence looking after just the building. It definitely is in that sort of like cash area that he could afford something like that. You cannot see any obvious, though, sort of hardwired weapons. The place doesn't really sort of look built for that. Seems reasonably standard protection levels. If there is something big, it'll be more in detection or more in sort of the AGI providing security.
Looks like Mobius hasn't paid for any physical security or bots or turrets or anything like that. So it'd be pretty vulnerable to the AGI. If you can get into its mesh, then we should have the run of the building.
This is really weird.
Let's go to Coda. See if Coda can know anything criminally.
All right. So I've got 6 in criminal. Is there anything that would give me an advantage here, or just a flat roll?
I think this is a flat roll. There's nothing against you here, but yeah, this is flat.
Ask and you shall receive. Highest die is a 6. Thanks for jinxing me, Will. Appreciate it.
Doesn't look like, you can see no signs that anybody sort of marked it up for any kind of sort of criminal activity on any of the walls, and you definitely doesn't look like anything's been planted to gather illegal surveillance information at all in the building. I think that is reasonable on what you've rolled. It
And
doesn't look
degrade it?
bad. It doesn't look cased. You cannot see anybody casing it out at this point.
And then mark it down?
Yes, lose 1 from your no pool. Okay, so let's go with the rear man first. That's Fisher with a perceive.
Okay. That's a 10.
That is a 10. Again, sort of backing up what Coda sort of knew. It doesn't look as if it's camped out around here. Nobody seems to be overlooking it. You can definitely see some movement on the 3rd floor. Yeah, there's lights going on up there, switching off as somebody's moving from
So
room
someone
to room.
is home. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely somebody is home. And Hex at the
Got another
your
10.
roll. I may add something more to Fisher's depending on what you roll.
I rolled a 10. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
2 10s actually, not that it matters, but just to rub it in.
You notice somebody actually approached the building in his let-in. Bit of an odd gate, you would think. You would probably say with the gait and the way they're walking that they are not Martian. This looks like somebody that's not maybe adjusted to the gravity of Mars. Yeah, they could be to somewhere else. It looks well dressed. Clearly they're quite well covered up. Unusual because inside the habitat, you don't need respirators and you don't need all that kind of other stuff, but they are quite well wrapped up. But they are let into the building. They only stand at the doorway, at the entranceway for a very short period of time. So it's not a nefarious entry into the building. They're let in, an automatic buzzer, and you can see a medium-sized dog. This is not sort of Gnasher with massive fangs. This is just a medium sort of sized dog in the grounds. Comes up, sort of greets this person, and then the door shuts as they enter the property, as they walk towards the main house.
I would conclude that he's not watched. There's relatively minimal security. He wants us. He wants to see us. I think we go in. I mean, through the front door. And
yeah, I think we go and knock.
Okay.
It's a knock and enter job.
Don't want to try and. I mean, I thought you were some sort of, cyber brain hacker hacks. Want to try and break into the AGI, lock it down so that we can knock on the door and kick our way in if we need to.
I mean, there's another way. And I'll adjust my shirt a little bit.
The guy's 80 or something.
This is an old guy. I appreciate all the fancy stuff here, but we've got weird bodies. We need answers. Let's be direct. And that way, if things go pear-shaped, then we can open up and whatnot.
Oh, I was about being direct, like prime the laser pistol. This fucker bought us.
Okay. I'll say maybe one of us wants to hang back in case things go pear. Are you okay with that, Rook?
Sure.
Okay. Then I'll go march up to the front door.
Okay. As you get to the front door, the lights of the building starts to flicker on and off. Slightly weird, but they start to flicker on and off. You ring the bell, let's say, and you're greeted on a video screen of, if we flick to the NPC tab, next to Dr. Mobius, is a character. This is He introduces himself. Hello, I'm Habeas Corpus, research assistant of Dr. Mobius. How can I help? And you can definitely see lights flickering behind him, and he does look slightly sort of, what's going on?
Dr. Morbius purchased forks of myself and my 3 colleagues, which were manifested in the Titan exclusion zone. Dr. Morbius, a version of him was there, attacking. There were some creatures there, and he told us that we needed to come to Noctis to meet with him.
He doesn't seem to be paying you much attention at this stage, but he does come back on the screen. He says, I seriously doubt that Dr. Morbius would be involved in such illegal activity as that, my friend. And you notice something sort of come behind him and strike him, and he drops to the ground. But just at that, he had buzzed it open the door.
Push. And I will gesture for Rook in the way that says, get in here very fucking fast.
Yeah, he does.
So, we've got you at the door entrance. We've got Rook back a bit that I know of. What's Hex and Coda? Sort of, where are you now, and what do you want to do? We've got Fisher moving forwards at some pace, yeah, Fisher, towards the building. Yeah. We've got Rook probably bombing from a distance behind you, but he is moving in that direction. What are you doing, Coda and Hex?
Coda?
You know, I think I'm trying to talk to this research assistant and say, listen, will you really just...
He's dropped out of vision on this video screen. He's gone down.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to try to hack the AGI.
Excellent. Make a that's infosec, isn't it? Information security. So
it can be infosec, interface, hardware, whatever you want. I think it's 8 across the board.
Roll 8 dice, and I will tell you some stuff. And we're down to 5 minutes to go, lol. I'm aware.
Thank you.
988.
998. Excellent. So that is some success. So decrease your infosec by 1.
Gotcha.
You managed to pull out of this network very, very quickly. As soon as you log in, your muse, Eros, turns around and says, chaos software has been detected on this network, spreading from an unknown source within the building. High-level chaos software. Suggest you disconnect quickly. And the lights are now starting to really jitter in this place. Your knowledge, Coda, chaos software is sort of some quite high-level programming that is injected into an AGI to really confuse it. Yeah, other AGIs will attempt to assist an AGI and to sort of reboot it, get it back up. But the building's AGI seems to be under some kind of an attack as we speak, and there's physical manifestations as that that you can see. Hex, what are you doing?
I'm running.
Coda zone out for a bit. Clearly, she's involved in something else.
Yeah, I'm running to the gate and hold it open for Coda. As soon as she's ready, she can enter in.
Come in. Excellent. Okay, I think I'll just tell you something, Fisher, and then you are in a good position. Yeah.
To dive for cover and hide.
Sort of falls open. Again, unusual. You'd expect it to be locked. Lining on the floor in front of you is this hyperpig. That is the best way to describe habeas corpus. Next to him is this small dog, sort of licking his wound. He's received a sort of a push to the ground. Yeah, he's banged himself, and he seems out for a little bit. Yeah, that's the situation that's greeted you. Just as your colleagues come up behind you.
Yeah, imagine that I'm grabbing him, and pulling him and myself to cover and hiding while the others take care of the situation. And I got to duck, guys. I will see you all.
Thank you very much, Lowell. You take care. Okay,
Bye.
Post.
Be well.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Just got him before he went there. Do we want to call it here, folks? As I go more and more out of focus. That's fine.
I'm happy to call it here. It feels like a natural point. We're only got
that's good with me. We can do stars and wishes with the rest of us, though. That's always
Really
nice.
quickly.
Yep.
I would like to try to do some programming to see if I can help the AGI that's under attack. Do you want me to handle that next time, or do we want to sort that now?
I think that's how we'll open next time.
Okay.
You going in to assist this AGI. Yeah, it'll allow me to do some reading about AGIs.
Okay.
And how they work.
So let's start with the newbie of the group, Rook. Stars and wishes. What have you got? So we'll do stars and wishes, and then we can do a little bit of system chat after that, if you want.
Yeah.
So you fire away, Will.
Stars. I forgot how cool the Eclipse Phase setting is. You know how fleshed out it is, how Mars is. You know, I opened up the PDF while we were playing, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they break like everything down into like regions and space, and you've got this. You know,
was that Sunwood, or was that just the?
Oh, both. Once you pulled up the map, I was like, hang on a minute, that's not in this book. What's the book that has Mars in? Oh yeah, Sunwood. Opened that up at the same time and looked at that map myself. And
annoyingly, it's rotated 90 degrees, isn't it? It's not the easiest thing to read.
Yeah. And then I went to the next page and was like, wait, the writing's at 90 degrees? Oh no, wait, yeah. But yeah, and I thought you did a good job of bringing that to life, conveying all of that. You know, like I guess I'm probably more familiar with the, you know, I'd read all of the Eclipse Phase stuff, and I've listened to a few actual plays of it. This is the first time, you know, really played Eclipse Phase. But I thought it felt like Eclipse Phase, you know, the forking, the stuff, the scenario. I don't know if that's a pre-made one, but it's pretty cool so far. It's hitting the notes. And stars for, you know, I think that the crew moving our way through it, and you know, dealing with the tasks, wishes. I suppose I would like, you know, I'm about to get my opportunity to murder some fools, I think.
Yeah, we had a lot of combat last week, and this week we've had zero combat. We are on the brink, maybe, of some. We'll see.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed the use of rep as well. That'd be another star. I thought that was a good use of rep scores there. What I would wish is for some less general, like social stuff, like named into, you know, like actual people, because rep is more kind of like the broad picture of things, like the network, etc. Right? I guess I'm thinking of like coders interpersonal skills and fishers interpersonal skills, more like this is a specific guy who you need to talk, you actually need to get face to face with, or you know, like get on top of it. It'd be cool.
That will definitely come. I put a few things on the NPC tabs. We just haven't met. We haven't met them yet.
I saw all those NPCs and I thought, I'm gonna, you know, I want to interact with those guys.
I want to interact with a detective.
Yeah, God, yeah, detective 100%. But you know, my big wish is that to keep rolling tens every time I roll, and to keep, so specifically to roll a 10 with the first time I use that laser pistol on some goon. That's what I'm looking forward to.
We will see if we can accommodate you, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, another wish. Are we part of Firewall?
Not yet.
Not yet. We will answer that as we play.
Cool. Okay. Because I mean, I think I would like Rook to maybe be like have been used by Firewall, aware of it or something, right? But like I wasn't sure if we were
maybe the real you does know about Firewall.
Exactly. Yeah. Just seems to be like you're a heavily armed bastard who fought the Titans. You seem like you'd be the first person up for Firewall service, right? But that's how they get you. They keep you guessing. Yeah. Anyway, that's me. Firewall, as I'm sure is going to come up. That is another big wish because, you know, I think half of the Eclipse Phase is a great setting, but I also enjoy the fact that you basically play Delta Green
In space.
in space.
It is Delta Green, and I am trying to concentrate a bit more on that rather than sort of gate crashing.
I don't particularly like gate crashing. I mean, I think that the it's a great setting and everything. Delta Green in space is cool. But I think one thing that struck me as I read the book quickly then was like, let's not go into all of the sort of like Vampire the Masquerade, like the different factions of Firewall and all of that shit. Like as soon as you've got like 3 factions within the factions, I'm like,
One faction.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
The trifecta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the tri-faction.
Moving to you, Puckett. Bit of Stars and Wishes.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, getting through the hallway was fine, but getting the vehicle and then doing like the conversations in the vehicle and then getting to that hab and like trying to figure out how to get into Noctis. I really appreciated all the different ways people were trying to approach situations. It really felt like everybody was leaning into what their characters are good at and strong at. That was, again, I really enjoyed that part of it because we all had different approaches. And it seemed like we could all back each other up in one way or another. And then I think my favorite part was just trying to suss out what's going on at Dr. Mobius's place. And again, the different ways we approached that: security ops, criminal, surveillance. I like it when people lean into their strengths. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Thank you
My
very
wish
much.
is that Will would stop saying, "Hey, why don't you roll something that gives Paul to work with?" No?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. I apologize, Will. But yeah, I mean, it's we'd been rolling 10s and 9s up to that point, and then look at what happened. Very next roll.
Ruined your rolls.
My wish is that we not curse each other next time. And by the way, Horst, I am teasing. I'm joking.
I know. I need to kick tires. That's my job, and we can only kick tires of a system if not everything succeeds.
Right.
Well,
and not only that, but you know.
Sorry, for a second I thought you said not curse each other, and I was like, oh, I did swear a lot this session. Yeah.
Nobody's lined profanity, have they? You know, oh shit, fuck, shit, oh damn.
Oh shit! No, I'm sorry. Shit, fuck.
Yeah.
We're not Roy Kent. But I think all of you know that I actually enjoy rolling failures. I mean, poor Jackie Taylor. So that was actually that was fun. A wish, and maybe this is just something that's gonna be coming up next time, and I don't know it. I'd like harsher consequences for a completely failed roll.
Yeah, sure.
So, there's that. But I'm not sure if that's a wish or if that's system stuff.
No, I can notch that up. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, there ain't going to be no instant death, but we can notch that up. Clearly, in an episode where there wasn't much combat, I couldn't inflict a lot of physical harm, and there just was a lot of big dice rolls. Maybe I do need to, next time I run something, adjust the skill points. Maybe I've dished out a bit too many. Hard to say. We'll talk about one, then we'll talk about the system. Thank you very much, Puckett, for that wish, and yeah, I will try and notch up the consequences attached. To my good friend Horst, stars and wishes.
Stars to the setup. Not knowing what's going on and investigating the stuff is core to the Eclipse Phase experience, I think. I did enjoy the car ride. I
did as well. I thought that interaction you guys had
Yeah.
was spicy and nice, concise, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 6 months 6 months. The only person I've not come to yet with is Coda. Hasn't told me how long.
3 hours.
3 hours. We will investigate that next week, Puckett. Yeah, if I don't remind, throw something in there for, when you were last around. Maybe Mobius will answer some questions for you. Maybe. There we go. So please continue, Horst.
Wishes, I think that as a player, you probably have to just say that you want a character moment rather than expecting the GM to grant you a character moment. And that worked today, and I will try to find an opportunity next time.
If I see a good point, I will throw it in there, but it probably is better if characters give it. I will 100% try to not just say no, now's not a good time, because I think any time's a good time for a character moment. Even in the middle of a gunfight, do you mind actually hitting the target?
Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
So yeah, throw them in there, guys. I'm more than happy to slow down the rate of play. That's something fine. Stars from me. I really love that vehicle moment. Horst, Will, I lean out the window of the vehicle. Nice and cool. Even though it didn't result in a dice roll or anything being done, it conjured up a good mental image for me of, if I had boatloads of money to turn something into a film, it's building the film plot in my head, an EP film. And Pucker, I really liked the sort of hacking thing. And while it will flow into the next session, the ideas you came up with around hacking, I thought, cool. And yeah, it's a different kind of attack. So yeah, many ways to skin the fish, and it was good to see that. A few minutes then on system. A lot of 10s thrown today. I think compared to last week, I think that was just dice roll, but yeah, I'm still not 100% sure on. So Will, because the record didn't work so well last week, one of the ones that Horst came up with the system was put in just the amount of skill pools for skills, but remove the top 3, health, sanity, and recovery, from the general pool, and just give players a set amount of pool to put in those 3 to stop the sort of 8 load.
Yeah.
I'm happy to play it this time, but Horst thought it'd be better if I use the system again to limit those 3 in a small skill pool and give people less skills to distribute in that. Hard choices. Is that sort of what you were saying, Horst?
Yeah, exactly. That you have to make the decision. Okay, do I want to go 8, I don't know, 7, 6, or would it be cool to have 8, 5, I don't know what, so that you have like a differentiation between the characters. I go for the more, I don't know, sane guy. I go for the more. What are the other skills? So that it is a harsh decision.
Yeah, health and sanity, the sort of physical, mental, and then am I able to recover from, you could have medium scores in them, but if you've got a massive recovery, it's like, it's not really affecting me for a long period of time. I'm going to bounce back.
Do I go medium? Exactly. Medium. So I want to have everything on a 6, let's say, or do I want to have, an 8, and I accept that one of them is really low?
I like that, then I probably will bring that in. Will, do your ironing.
No, I think that's a good point. I think that there may be too many points overall. I'm very, very good at everything that I do. And between the 4 of us, we're very, 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 very good at everything covered, and there's so many overlaps, in particularly high areas. I don't, I hate juggling numbers around in those senses, so I don't really have a constructive way of
just probably maybe less next time, or gauge it for the sort of style of game that I want to get. I think if we're playing superheroes, probably high amount. What's the one down from Night's Black Agent where you're just sort of normal people?
Oh, there's the Fear itself.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got what sort of setting I want to set, and maybe get the points adjusted to that. That's an area I definitely need to work on. I need to sort of understand the skills a bit better, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing. It's just that, you know, you definitely have enough points to be like, I am going to be 8 in everything that I'm good at. And I still have enough left over to be pretty damn good at everything that I'm only a dilettante in, really. You know, the only reason I'm a dilettante in them is because I've got 5 instead of 8, you know?
Yeah. I think, I will adjust it down next time. But so I noticed, I don't know if you picked up on that, Puckett and Horse, from learning it last week, you guys, rules resolutions were a lot quicker this time.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because they were mostly combat last time, as this isn't combat, and maybe it's a bit crunchier in combat. But you guys knew straight away, you know, the big 10, the 7 and 9, and then the less. And I think people understood it very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
is it 7 to 9 or 8 to 9?
I think 8 to 9. Yeah. As soon as I said it, I knew you'd pick me up for a Puckett.
Yeah. But I think it's definitely better than, you know, I was just looking at the Eclipse phase, like actual rules, and I was like, oh, my brain hurts. Like, I don't, you know, looking at like the couple of examples of rule dice and not looking at them very far, but I was like, the crunch, you know, the calculations, the factors and everything. I was like, no.
It is high crunch. They have introduced with EP2 a sort of set damage, set sort of skills. Yeah, I mean, we're not at the top level of Rollmaster. You know, because who doesn't love Rollmaster?
Lowell does.
It is EP by itself is quite crunchy. This is a bit of a level less, but there's still some crunch there. You know, yeah.
I like
another wish. Oh, sorry.
I like the body and the biomods being on there. I guess you know, a general wish would be that like I'm going to use them at some point now, but you know, part of the Eclipse phase gimmick is that, you know, you have different bodies, different mods, different augmentations and stuff like that. And it was kind of good that it was, you know, only one of you is actually fitted out, you know, is tailored to the Martian environment. The rest of you are not tailored to the Martian environment and will suffer if you go out there.
I will try and get a morph swap in. We've only got one more session. I will try and get a morph swap in.
Yeah, that was my wish that I was thinking about. Like,
I mean,
resleeving is the boring and the annoying thing in Eclipse phase. I actually don't hate the system otherwise. Maybe combat, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I hate it. It's one of those things that I look at the rules and I go, somebody else will run this for me, and I'll go, cool. You know, that's what you tell me what to roll.
Calculate lots for everything for me, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks to all 3 of you. We've already said goodbye along. Everybody here okay with? If I finally get it working, I will post it. I will try.
Please also post it if it's just you. That is also funny.
Yes. Yeah. You can infer what was happening by the voices.
Yeah.
So really quickly,
the hand puppet comes on screen. Oh no! Thank you very much, everybody. Go ahead, Puckett.
Yeah, I just wanted to basically say that this is something that's really easy to understand. I mean, there's times that I struggle with rule sets, but as you pointed out, we picked it up straight away. So that the simplicity of the rules is great, even though I think that we might get a few too many skill points, and I'd like to see harder bounce backs on, you know, complete misses. Like, you know, if I'm hacking something and it misses, you know, that should result in getting locked out of the system and alarms going off. You know, if I'm trying to investigate something via criminal and I miss, again, alarms should go off, you know, or something of the sort. There's a lot of different consequences for failed rolls, even without combat. Trying to hack into chaos software to help an AGI, that could fuck with my head.
It could,
you know?
yeah.
I might need to do some psychosurgery on myself to deal with that. So, you know, just you know, it's a great system. I'm really enjoying it so far. might have a few too many skill points, but
Yeah.
it's really easy to pick up and play and doesn't really require people to learn a lot of edge cases or anything like that, it seems.
Thank you
So-
very much. That is a massive good one for me, Tech Falls. But skill points, yeah, I'll definitely look at that after we play this out. I'm not going to adjust them. You know, I'm not going to instantly. You are at 50%. You know, that's horrible. But thank you all three of you very much for this, and it will go up on the internet at some stage. Thank you very much, and look forwards. I will see you all next week.
Peace out.
Have a great week,
Bye.
everybody. Be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.